Maya learned early in life that machines spoke a language that never lied. When an engine failed, it showed clear signs, and when it worked, it rewarded patience and care. She grew up helping her uncle in a small repair shed where tools were older than her dreams. By the time she was grown, she could rebuild an engine with calm hands and focused eyes. People in town knew her as the quiet mechanic girl who fixed what others could not. Her own workshop was small and crowded with worn vehicles waiting for attention. Every day she worked from sunrise until her arms felt heavy and her back ached. Money was always tight, but she saved every extra bill in a metal box under her bed. She wanted one thing only, which was a place she could call her own forever. No landlord, no threats, no sudden rent increases, and no rules that crushed her work. One evening a notice on a town board caught her attention. It was a faded paper offering an abandoned garage for sale on River Street. Most people laughed when they saw it because the place had been closed for decades. The roof was broken, the doors were locked with rusted chains, and weeds swallowed the walls. To Maya, it did not look dead, it looked asleep and waiting. She visited the garage the next morning with the sun low in the sky. The building stood alone behind a bent fence like an old guardian. Paint peeled from the walls and dust covered every surface she could see. A broken sign hung crooked above the entrance with letters barely readable. When she placed her hand on the cold metal door, she felt a strange calm inside her chest. The owner lived far away and wanted the place gone. He said the garage had no value and too many problems. The price was low enough to feel unreal, and the paperwork was simple. People warned her that abandoned places carried trouble and secrets. Maya listened politely, but her heart was already decided. She used nearly all her savings to buy the garage. Friends shook their heads and said she had made a mistake. They told her the building would eat her money and time. Maya only smiled and thanked them for their concern. She believed that effort turned broken things into something useful. The first night she stood inside the garage with a single lantern. The air smelled of old oil rust and forgotten years. Dust floated slowly as she walked across the cracked floor. Empty shelves lined the walls and old tools lay scattered like memories. Every step echoed as if the building was learning her presence. She spent days cleaning and removing trash piece by piece. Rusted bolts, broken chairs, and piles of paper filled several bins. Her hands were sore, but her spirit felt lighter with every hour. The garage slowly began to reveal its true size and shape. Under layers of neglect, there was strength still holding the walls. One afternoon she noticed something strange near the back wall. A large metal cabinet sat bolted into the floor. It was not mentioned in the property papers or visible from outside. The lock was heavy and untouched by time more than anything else there. Maya felt a quiet tension as she studied it closely. She tried to open it, but the lock did not move. The metal felt thicker than normal storage cabinets. There were small markings along the edges like coded symbols. Her curiosity grew, but she decided not to force it yet. She believed that rushing always caused mistakes. As days passed, she discovered more unusual details. The floor near the cabinet sounded hollow under her boots. The walls behind it were newer than the rest of the garage. Someone had clearly made changes long after the place closed. Maya wondered why anyone would hide work in an abandoned building. At night she sat on a crate and reviewed old town records. She searched for stories about the garage but found very little. The place seemed to vanish from history after a certain year. No fires, no crimes, no public sales were recorded. It was as if the building had been erased on purpose. Her sleep became light and filled with thoughts of unanswered questions. She dreamed of engines running beneath layers of dust. In the morning she woke with determination instead of fear. Whatever was hidden here had waited a long time. She felt chosen, not lucky but chosen. One evening while cleaning near the cabinet, she noticed a loose panel. Behind it was a hidden switch covered in grime. Her hands trembled slightly as she wiped it clean. She hesitated, knowing that some doors changed everything. With a deep breath she pressed the switch. The sound that followed was low and mechanical. The floor beneath the cabinet shifted slowly. A narrow seam opened, revealing stairs descending into darkness. Cool air rushed upward, carrying the scent of oil and metal. Maya stepped back as her heart pounded with disbelief. She stood there for a long moment, listening to the quiet hum below. The garage no longer felt empty or forgotten. It felt alive and full of intention. Maya realized her purchase was more than a workspace. It was the beginning of a mystery far greater than she imagined. Maya stood still as the hidden stairs rested open beneath the cabinet. The air rising from below felt cold and clean, unlike the dust above. She picked up her lantern and checked that it was steady and bright. Fear whispered softly, but curiosity spoke louder in her chest. She stepped onto the first stair and felt the weight of the moment settle in. The stairs were wide and solid, built with care and skill. Metal rails lined the sides and the walls looked freshly sealed. Each step echoed gently as she moved deeper underground. The smell of oil grew stronger and more familiar to her senses. It was the smell of machines that had been cared for, not forgotten. At the bottom she reached a large steel door standing quietly. There were no warning signs and no locks visible on its surface. A small panel beside it glowed faintly when she approached. Her reflection stared back at her from the smooth metal. She pressed her palm against the panel, and the door slowly opened. Light flooded the space beyond, revealing something beyond belief. A massive underground hall stretched far into the distance. Rows of classic cars stood perfectly arranged like a private museum. Every vehicle shined softly, as if polished that very morning. Maya forgot to breathe as her eyes moved from one car to another. She walked slowly between the rows, barely daring to touch anything. There were old models, rare shapes and colors she had only seen in books. Each car rested on clean floors with space between them. Small tags hung near the wheels with dates and notes written clearly. Someone had loved these machines deeply and protected them carefully. Maya noticed cameras mounted high along the walls. Soft lights followed her movements without harsh brightness. The temperature stayed even and calm, protecting metal and paint. This place was designed to last and remain hidden. It was not abandoned, it was preserved. At the far end of the hall she found a workbench. Tools were arranged in perfect order, just as she liked. Notes rested on the table, written in neat, simple words. They described repairs, inspections, and long-term care plans. The handwriting felt personal and thoughtful, not rushed or careless. She sat on a stool, trying to steady her thoughts. This was more than a lucky find or strange secret. It felt like a responsibility passed quietly to her. Questions filled her mind about who built this place and why. She sensed that answers would not come easily or quickly. Maya explored further and found more hidden rooms connected by tunnels. Each room held more vehicles, covered and protected. Some cars looked ready to run, as if waiting for a signal. Others were mid-restoration, frozen in time. The scale of the collection felt overwhelming yet intentional. As she climbed back up the stairs hours later, the sky had darkened. The garage above felt different now, full of meaning and weight. Maya locked the cabinet carefully and stood alone in silence. Her life had changed the moment she pressed that hidden switch. She knew this secret would test her choices and shape her future. Maya did not tell anyone what she had found beneath the garage. She returned to her daily routine with calm effort and steady focus. Customers came and went, and she fixed engines like nothing had changed. But every sound of metal now carried deeper meaning for her. The secret below waited patiently while she planned her next steps. At night she studied books and old records about classic cars. She compared models and years with what she had seen underground. Slowly she understood the value hidden beneath her feet. The collection was not just rare, it was priceless beyond imagination. Each car carried history, skill, and silent stories of another time. She began documenting everything with care and respect. She wrote notes by hand describing each vehicle and its condition. She followed the routines left behind by the unknown owner. Oil checks, cleaning schedules, and gentle engine turns became ritual. The cars responded quietly, as if accepting her presence. Days turned into weeks and Maya felt watched in a different way. Not by fear but by trust passed from someone long gone. She wondered who built this place and why they disappeared. The notes never mentioned names, only responsibility and patience. It felt like a test meant for someone who loved machines, not money. One afternoon a stranger visited the shop asking about the old garage. He spoke politely and looked around with careful eyes. He said he worked with property records and urban history. Maya listened calmly while keeping her answers simple. She sensed that curiosity about the garage was slowly spreading. That night she reinforced locks and reviewed security systems below. The underground space was already protected, but she added more layers. She believed secrets survived only when guarded with discipline. Her heart remained steady even as pressure began to rise. She trusted her instincts as she always had. As she worked among the cars she felt moments of quiet joy. Each engine responded smoothly under her careful hands. She fixed small issues without changing the original spirit. It felt like speaking to elders through tools and motion. She was not the owner, she was the caretaker. One evening she found a sealed envelope on the workbench below. It had not been there before, or she had missed it earlier. Inside was a short message written in the same neat style. It spoke of legacy, trust, and choosing the right hands. Maya read it slowly, feeling the weight of its words. The message said the collection was never meant for sale. It was built to protect history from careless destruction. The writer believed the right person would find it one day. Not someone seeking fame but someone who listened to machines. Maya felt tears rise but her hands remained steady. She realized then that her life path had quietly aligned. Every struggle, every late night had prepared her for this role. The garage was not a coincidence, it was a calling. She promised silently to protect what had been given. The cars below rested, as if sensing her resolve. The town slowly noticed changes around the old garage. Lights stayed on longer and the building looked stronger. People whispered, but no one truly knew the truth. Maya kept working quietly, letting rumors fade on their own. She understood that some stories were not meant to be spoken yet. As the season changed she stood at the garage door one morning. The sun rose softly and reflected off clean metal surfaces. She felt grounded and ready for whatever came next. The secret beneath her feet no longer felt heavy. It felt like purpose waiting for the right moment to rise. Maya woke early every day with the same quiet resolve. She no longer questioned why the garage had chosen her. Her role felt clear and steady like a well-tuned engine. She balanced her small shop above with the hidden world below. Both spaces mattered, and both required patience and care. She began inviting local students to learn basic repair skills. They worked only in the upper garage under her guidance. Maya taught them respect for tools and attention to detail. She never spoke about what rested beneath the floor. The garage slowly became a place of learning and trust. Over time the town began to change its view of the old building. What was once seen as forgotten now looked strong and alive. People admired the clean walls and steady work happening inside. Maya stayed humble and focused on her craft. She let the work speak louder than words. Below ground the collection remained untouched by public eyes. Maya continued the routines left by the original caretaker. She started engines gently and listened to every sound. Each car responded like an old friend recognizing her touch. The space felt peaceful and complete. One night she added her own note to the workbench. She wrote about balance, patience, and quiet responsibility. She did not sign her name or claim ownership. She believed the message mattered more than the author. The collection felt like a living promise passed forward. Years moved on without dramatic change. Maya aged with the garage, growing wiser and calmer. She saved money and repaired the building slowly and carefully. Nothing was rushed and nothing was wasted. The garage stood as proof of steady effort. One evening she walked through the underground hall alone. The lights glowed softly along the rows of cars. She felt gratitude without needing reward. Her life had found meaning through service, not discovery. The value beneath her feet never tempted her. She understood that true worth was not counted in numbers. It lived in preservation, respect, and restraint. The collection stayed hidden and protected from careless hands. Maya remained its quiet guardian. That role felt richer than any fortune. As she locked the cabinet one final time that night, she paused and rested her hand on the metal surface. The garage hummed gently like a resting machine. Maya smiled, knowing she had honored the trust given. Some treasures were meant to be protected, not revealed.